Hello everybody! Today we will be looking at this marvelous mono blue sugar-free lollipop. If you look at it, the resemblance that it has to the blue mana symbol is really striking. The proportions are almost the same. I found it at a local supermarket and I couldn't have missed that. So that's a nice thing to have for sure. But on a serious note, we'll be looking at a thing which is much bitter than that lollipop, I guess, even though it is sugar-free, and that is a Stasis deck in Premodern. So Stasis is a deck that I know is hated by many. It is, after all, a mono-blue control deck here in Premodern, which is already, not a fan favorite, not the most fun deck to play against. But at the same time, it falls into an even much more hated subcategory, which is a prison deck, meaning that once you get into that prison, it's very hard to get out, and you might as well scoop in many cases. So, what does Stasis do? Let me remind you. It says that players do not get an untap phase, you pay 1 blue during your upkeep, or Stasis is destroyed. Cards still do not untap until the next untap phase. The last sentence is of course redundant because we know that upkeep comes after untap, so of course if you don't pay upkeep then there is nothing for you to actually believe that you will be untapping your permanent. So there is of course the problem that we have to pay this blue mana every turn, and our opponent does not do that. Of course, if we play this card fairly, then sooner or later we're just going to run out of mana, or we will be playing our lands, and we will be doing this pretty much every turn and tapping one more land for this Stasis. But there are of course some great workarounds, if in old school 93-94, and if you look here, there are actually a lot of 93-94 cards, like half of the deck is 93-94, right? We've got Stasis, we've got Howling Mine, we've got Black Vise, we've got Counterspell, and we have got Boomerang. So yeah, a lot of cards, and of course Islands. And a lot of cards actually come from the oldest era of Magic, which is actually from Alpha. Here is the thing with it, that in Premodern we have got this land which I personally never actually noticed, even though I know Planeshift quite well. This is Forsaken City, so let's take a minute to admire the art. It's really beautiful in my opinion. And it doesn't untap during your untap step, which is absolutely nothing to be afraid of with Stasis, because Stasis makes all lands do so, meaning not untap. And for tap, you can add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So that's actually quite nice, because it doesn't have to be blue mana. So I've seen some variations of Stasis with green splash for Root Maze, which is essentially Kismet for some specific types of permanents. Then you have also got white splash for Lightning Tutor, to tutor for your enchantments and artifacts. But here I'm just playing a mono blue version, and it's my own version. It has a little bit of everything. It's also based on my limited card pool, because I found out that I don't have a play set of everything, but still it works nice, as you will see. So the core cards are all here. So speaking of mana base, we have got 18 islands. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but as you will see, an island is not just a land for us, it is the fuel for our glorious alternative cost cards. What cards am I referring to? So number one, we have got Gush, right? So we've got those marvelous, unfair in many ways cards from the Mercadian Masques block. So the alternative cost here is that you may return 2 islands you control to their owner's hand instead of paying mana cost. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be tapped. So you can even return untapped or tapped. I mean, it doesn't have to be untapped. That's what I meant, obviously. So yeah, draw 2 cards. It's awesome, right? Because you can still tap for mana, you can play a spell, you can tap, get it into your mana pool, which doesn't exist anymore, as we know, at least in terms of terminology, but still. And it's great, it's great. 2 cards, even if it only said 1 card, I think it would still be playable. So that's an absolutely amazing card. And what I'm trying to say here is that even though we do rely on Forsaken City, of course, Wasteland is a pretty popular card in various pre-modern decks, so you shouldn't really count on Forsaken City always being available. So sometimes we will have to just put an island into play once we have established the Stasis lock. And to make sure that we've got enough islands, we can bounce them using Gush. But it's not limited to Gush. You know, there's a whole cycle. So this is return 2 lands, Thwart is return 3 lands, and Day says return only 1 land. So essentially it's a force spike, which is 1 mana more expensive, but you can return an island to play it. And finally, for 3 returned islands, you can bounce. You can counter spell. It's a hard counter, which is also incredibly nice. 3 copies here. Can play it for 4 mana, which doesn't seem too expensive actually. It's kind of a, you know, Force of Will follow up here with foil, which is also synergetic. So, you know, you can counter a lot of stuff. So I hope we will see such an exchange in the Forge games. You know, I always record this deck tech first and then we actually go to the Forge game. So yeah, you know, it's also a surprise for me how I'm going to handle that. And yeah, so Thwart, return 3 islands, and then play foil. So foil costs you 3 cards, meaning foil itself, also 1 island, and 1 more card to discard. It is discard, it is not removed from the game like Force of Will, and it's also only 4 mana. It's still, of course, not as good as Force of Will, but quite playable, I would say. Next, what else have we got here? So we have also got, getting back, you know, to Stasis and the idea of this lock that we've got this awesome Howling Mine. So if you dare enter the dungeon, you will get a card, but so will your opponent. And then again, we just hope that our opponent will keep drawing cards, not being able to play anything, and if they do manage to play just 1 card per turn, we will be countering that with our glorious alternative cost cards, or maybe even our proper mana, because we will have Forsaken City, which we will be untapping. So yeah, that's what we hope to achieve, at least in the perfect scenario for this deck. So yeah, Black Vise, of course, will be damaging our opponent. And you know, there are some other win conditions. Some people use Stroke of Genius, but here I'm just rolling with this pretty basic build of Stasis. We have also got Impulse, which is like a mini tutor card, so you can dig through your deck to try and find the card that you actually need. So that's Impulse, maybe a part of the combo. Again, it's an instant, which is nice. Some people play Portent, there are some other variations, but that's what I have tried and liked. Next we have got Counterspell, 4 copies, of course. Good old Counterspell. This card, playing it for the first time really. This is from Alliances. It is Arcane Denial. So you counter a spell, and then that spell's caster may draw up to 2 cards at the beginning of next turn of upkeep. So yeah, here, you know, it's always delayed. It's like Portent. There are some cantrip cards from Ice Age, so this card draw doesn't happen immediately. And you know, I previously heard about this card as a kind of an ancestral recall. So you're trying to cast something, then you counter it with this, and then you essentially get 3 cards. So, you know, it's exchanging 2 cards and some mana for 3 cards. Yes, I guess we can also do that, but it is what it is. And, you know, at first I kind of ignored this thing where it says that the caster may draw up to 2 cards. Again, it says may. So if you're trying to force your opponent to draw cards so that they get damaged with Black Vise, it's not going to work, you know, unless your opponent is not able to read, which I believe is the case for AI in Forge, but still. And finally, we have got Boomerang. So Boomerang is really versatile. Of course, it's preferable to play Chain of Vapor, but here I do have Boomerang only. And we can, of course, bounce our own Stasis at the end of turn, so that our permanents untap. That's one of the things we can do. Another thing is that we can bounce our opponent's, for example, creature that they cheated into play, for instance, or just something that we missed because, you know, this mono blue deck is not very fast at countering small things. So sometimes if we didn't manage to do something, the best removal we have is a Boomerang plus Counterspell, which is expensive but can be life-saving. So there it is. This is the mono blue sugar-free lollipop, and this is the mono blue Stasis. So let's see it in action. Before we take a look at the games, I would like to remind you that we have got 2 patrons now, and this is certainly a great beginning because we are moving forward our goal of 10 patrons before the 1st of October. So our current rank is 2 out of 10, which is Harlon Minotaur, who has, of course, 2 powers, you understand. So the road from Cavil to Leviathan is 20% complete, but 80% to go. Patreon.com/MTG_Phil if you want to support the channel. There are 2 options, so you can just support the channel. Think of it as a tip jar. And this will motivate me, this will help me create videos more frequently and dedicate a bit more time to editing and producing content. And if you want to have a custom video based on your request, then you have got the rare tier. But in any case, whether you support me on Patreon or not, I definitely appreciate it, and I would like to thank our supporters Cam and Plague Doctor. So the first deck we're going to test against is going to be Ponza. Here's a little disclaimer. I unfortunately don't have my Blue Yeti microphone now because I've got some trouble with the cable, and this means that I am going to be using my default microphone. But still, I hope it's all right. And yeah, we got quite lucky because we got Black Vise on turn 1. Our opponent didn't do anything, which is also not something that usually happens with a Ponza deck. So Lightning Bolt, yeah, that's fine. We have to do some kind of damage control, literally. And yeah, so here's Dwarving Miner, this super sassy dwarf. It's an infamous art for the card. I prefer the Odyssey one. But yeah, anyhow, I'm not sure how to counter that because, on the other hand, it's 3 mana. Yeah, but we certainly don't want that. So, okay, I think that we can just use Days. Maybe even for its alternative mana cost. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. And it's countered. Okay. So, yeah, of course, we don't have to activate that. Cancel. And we've got 2 mana again. So Black Vise is still active, guess what? Pillage Black Vise. We certainly do not want that. So now we're just going to use a good old counter spell. Okay. So, when it's 1 for 1, still fair, still good. Yeah, I don't know. Probably it's going to be foil because I really, really like to have 2 copies of Forsaken City. If it's not the right play, yeah, I will do this. Okay. So 1 more Forsaken City. Time to start digging. Time to start digging for Stasis, actually. So, yeah, why not do that right now? Yep, so here is Stasis. Here is Stasis, we cannot cast it yet. And here's Curse Scroll. I couldn't care less about it, because our opponent will not have mana to actually do anything with it. And okay, I'm not going to use any of these effects. And there is 1 more island. So let's play Stasis itself. Okay. So which mana we produce is irrelevant here. And there it is. So our opponent is trying to play Stone Rain. Yes, let's see what can be done. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. But on the other hand, I cannot do much about it. So what I will do, I guess, is that I will take this 1 mana into mana pool. I don't know why. I don't have anything to cast for 1 mana. But still, I will play Gash for its alternative cost. Okay, we returned it. So, I was hoping to get foil, but we didn't. So yeah, Forsaken City is destroyed. One copy is destroyed, unfortunately. Okay, and here, of course, results first is this, and then we have got Stasis. So that's very important, that first we untap. Are you going to do it? Yes, I am going to do it. And then I pay this mana. Okay, so here is foil that we wanted to get, but didn't. That's totally fine. And okay, our opponent is pretty much locked now. I mean, yeah, there is Barbarian Ring, but still. Okay, yeah, am I going to do it every turn? Because this wasn't the case in the other version of the game. Okay, so here is Howling Mine. So we've got the three pieces of the combo, and it should work properly. And here is Wasteland. Oh my god, this is very bad. This is very bad because look, because this is Ponza. Yeah, so Stasis is not going to work anymore. Stasis is not going to work. It's done. It's done. That's all. Okay. But here is Forsaken City. However, we still lost Stasis, as you understand. Yes. I don't like this at all. I think we will use foil. So we have to discard our whole hand, pretty much, just to save Howling Mine. And there is Sulfuric Vortex as well. So far, we actually have more life than our opponent, but this will change real soon, I'm afraid. Okay, so also got a tap land. Yeah, not a good example. Not a good example of what I would like to happen. And okay then. So let's start digging. We need Stasis real quick. Here is Stasis. Okay, good. Cast it right away. Okay then. So wait, that's quite terrible. That's quite terrible. Let's count. Oops. Yeah. So next turn we lose, but our opponent doesn't. Yeah, that's a bit of a pity. That's a bit of a pity, but still. So yeah, attacking with pop, and I lost. Okay, so let's hope that we're luckier during our second game. I mean, we did have a good hand, but in Ponza there is a lot of land destruction. So I just wanted to show you what a bad matchup looks like. It's not the very worst matchup for this deck, but yeah, it's not one of the best either, certainly. So Levamancer just keeps attacking. Will we see anything here? No. Okay. So we just have 2 mana. But so far so good. Okay. And yeah, I certainly do not want Sulfuric Vortex. It's a terrible, terrible card for me because we usually lose in terms of tempo. So yeah, okay, let's just do Impulse in response. And what would I like to get? Weirdly enough, I would still like to get an island. And of course, I will counter Sulfuric Vortex with this alternative cost from Days. Okay, then. So we've got Howling Mine. And don't you dare break it. Don't you dare break it with Pillage. Avalanche Riders, alright. I wonder if I should counter them with foil. It looks tempting to counter, but here we have got Echo. So I don't know. It's not really that terrible. But okay, we do have some cards. So okay, I will get rid of an island and Arcane Denial. Okay, maybe this was a bit paranoid, but still. Okay, yeah, so now we have got a lot of different counters we can use. Mishras. are attacking. Okay. 2 cards, Black Vise from me. Still no Stasis, still no Stasis. Stasis is nowhere to be found, and we're getting annihilated with Mishra's factories, just like in those, good old days of old school. Yeah, so there's Firebolt. We will play good old Counterspell, and unless we get Stasis, we lost. Yeah, we did lose. We did lose because there is, 6 damage here. Even if we use Boomerang, still get 4 damage. So, yeah, unfortunately, we did lose here. Let's play against something else. Let's play against, let's say, the Rock. Okay, I think it's a pretty even matchup, especially considering that AI is not that good at using it, meaning the Rock. So, okay, here is Vacelet. And Wall of Blossoms. Okay, response just, let's look for something. Here is Black Vise that we get. Okay, our opponent has 7 cards. We very cautiously play Black Vise and leave 2 mana for the counter, I guess. Okay. All right. So yeah, our opponent probably didn't even have Naturalize. We'll find out now. Okay, cycling Tusker, no problem at all. And here's Naturalize. So yeah, what was I thinking? Okay then. And our opponent get to draw 1 more card. But then again, it plays to our advantage because it's just more damage. So here's a good question for you. Isn't it time to play Stasis and then hope that we just get enough mana? Enough lands, Really afraid of Pernicious Deed. Okay, so here is this. So maybe we'll actually even use Boomerang. Okay. Duras. Ah, it's really tough. I don't know what to do. Because I wanted. But okay, let's hope that our opponent doesn't choose Boomerang. No, didn't choose Boomerang, chose Foil. I don't know, maybe it's because it's the highest cost card, actually. But okay, let's bounce. Let's bounce Stasis. So as you see, we can still win. Uh, okay, I wanted to say we can still win without Forsaken City, but here's Forsaken City. And even without Howling Mine, it's doable. And I love it that even Treetop Village comes into play tapped. Feels really bad for our opponent, I'm sure. So do that. And okay, 1 more Black Vise. So that's a win. And okay, let's of course finish this match. And it's a decent hand. It's not very fast. Again, Wall of Blossoms. So yeah, the Rock is that mid-range deck, of course. And yeah, sadly, you cannot counter that. It's terrible, really. Okay, but it is still 1 for 1, so that's fair, I guess. Okay, and here's Forsaken City. 1 more copy. Duras, you know what? I will just play Arcane Denial, just because I want to, okay? I just want to do that. So, okay, yes. Exile a card. Yeah, I will exile 1. Stasis, I don't need that many. I draw an extra card. I draw a card for the turn. And we pass here. Blastoderm. Counter that. Okay, Gush. In response, we use Gush. So we just have to see what kind of options we get. And we counter, of course, not Gush, but... Okay, that's a lot of islands. That's a lot of islands. Yeah, too many copies of Stasis. So I'll discard that. Baloth. Counter that. Okay. Time to start the... Well, I don't know. It's never good to do it on your turn, is it? Baloth again. Perhaps we will let that resolve. Let's see. Maybe we get foil. No, we don't get foil. We'll get Howling Mine. And here is Baloth. Well, okay. Let's see. Let's see what we get next. But, Howling Mine and Stasis together and all of this stuff, it's not bad. I think we should actually play it. And then we will get Black Vise. Because that costs only one. So we will be sacrificing this extra land. Basically, we'll be discarding it to untap our Forsaken City. And there is Naturalize of Stasis. Oh my god, this is bad. Of course, our stuff mostly doesn't untap. Mostly. Okay. Oh, we've got plenty of cards. Okay. Yeah, so our opponent is tapped out now. Nothing to do for 1 mana. Yep. Of course we use that. We pay. Well, why did I use it? Okay, that's silly. Wasn't even tapped in the first place, but alright. Okay. Oh, Naturalized Stasis again. But we do have days for alternative cost. So not to worry. Okay. So yeah, here we of course don't do that because it's already untapped. We draw a ton of cards. We finally play Black Vise. And we hope that even if our opponent wants to... No, wait. Okay, we cannot do that. So yeah, let's just hope our opponent doesn't naturalize anything. Okay. Exile a card. What will it be? This. Give us an island, please. No island. Okay, now it's getting scary. But we do have Thwart. Okay. Yeah, we do have Thwart. So even if our opponent drops... Well, okay, it's silly to drop this land, but again, who knows what cards our opponent had. Okay, so get rid of Arcane Denial. Pay it, of course. Ooh, that's generous. Okay, one more of these. And we have got one more Black Vise. Hooray! Okay, this is pretty much a game that is won. So, okay, no matter what we do, we won. Hooray. Okay, just add one more Black Vise to the mix, and okay, it's cool. And the last thing we'll try, and it's very difficult to win against. This is mono black aggro. That's kind of a suicide mono black as we call it. And let's see whether it's actually viable against it. Spoiler alert, not really. But then again, let's see. So yeah, there's the Circumancy token. Yeah, it's such an interesting card. Because if we bounce the token, our opponent will be just damaging himself. So yeah, it's a very mean thing. On the other hand, if you find a way to bounce it every turn, then you can get a free zombie for 1 mana, which I guess isn't that good by modern standards, but in the past it was really impressive. Okay, anyhow, it's time to start doing something or lose, because this deck doesn't, give you a lot of chances, especially because there is freaking Hypnotic Spectre, which is absolutely devastating for our deck. So, sadly, we have only 2 lands. We just hope to get a foil. We didn't. And now it's pretty much over. Because our opponent stopped receiving damage from Black Vise. Okay, so yeah, let's just hope that we get something, but most likely we won't. And okay, we already have got a ton of powerful creatures against us. It's super slow. 8 mana. I mean 8 life. So yeah, we're dead. We're dead. Because if we bounce something, okay, so there is even bad moon. So yeah, okay, we bounce something, but then our opponent still attacks us for lethal. And okay, again, we have to get very, very lucky to do something here. But yeah, oops, I shouldn't have kept this one lander, I guess, even though it's very tempting with Black Vise. And yeah, we could have used Days, but Dark Ritual, 1 extra mana. Okay, yeah, shouldn't have kept that. Shouldn't have kept that. Bad Moon. Should I counter? I think it doesn't matter. Okay. So there's that. This is okay, Circummancy. Okay. Untap using Boomerang, for instance. All right. Can we actually play Stasis? That's a good question. Let's try that. Okay, this will be fun. This will be really fun if it works. Okay, Unholy Strength on the tapped. Black Knight. Yeah, you never cease to amaze me. Mm, all right. So how do we untap? We will use Boomerang and pay mana cost. Yeah, I've got 22 lands. I have seen builds with even less than that, so I don't know. For me, it seems like it's not enough. Really looks risky. Also, I always keep in mind that in Premodern, even though it's not the same thing as in old school, but still, you very often have got land destruction, so you also have to account for that. Okay. Just one more bad moon, which doesn't matter. Which doesn't matter. Okay, so you're feeling that you're close to the edge because you don't know what can save you. You really don't know. So Arcane Denial we discard. Finally, we will start to damage our opponent. So okay, get rid of one counter spell, I guess. Where are the lands? Where are the lands? Maybe I should just daze to untap an island. I'm serious, really. This is what I should do next. Okay, get rid of impulse. Okay. So, yes, I will do it just to get my island back. This is what I will do. Even though we like to discard islands, this time I will discard something else. So, I don't know, I really want to bounce this zombie token to damage our opponent with Circummancy. That would be nice. So then what do we get rid of? Thwart, I guess. Because with the scarcity of islands that is going on now, I don't think we will see it anytime soon. Okay, so yeah, Black Vise, very nice. 2 copies now. Okay, for 1 mana, our opponent cannot do anything. But wait. Okay, I've been here before. I've been here before. So our opponent gets 3 mana. We let this, we let this go. And then our opponent gets something for 2 mana, and Daze doesn't work. So no, I will instead counter Dark Ritual. Okay, I will just counter Dark Ritual. Because normally you would want your opponent to waste Dark Ritual, but not in this situation, right? Okay, so there is an island. Okay. Wasteland to destroy our Forsaken City. And yes, it looks bad, but it's not absolutely life-breaking because we have got good old island here. And one more Forsaken City to good. Okay. Okay, of course, we don't use this ability. It's already untapped. We will not exile anything. And one island, Forsaken City, is here. So, okay, yeah, we'll cast Howling Mine. Okay, things are going faster and faster. Wasteland destroys this, but we don't care because we already... Wait, what happened? I didn't pay for Stasis. Oh my god. Oh my god. We lost. What have I done? This is so embarrassing. This is so freaking embarrassing. Oh no. But, well, okay, it serves me right. Serves me right. So, yeah, in any case, we lost to this. I just skipped the trigger. I missed that trigger to untap. I thought it was the trigger to untap Forsaken City, but actually it was also the trigger to pay for Stasis, which I could have done with my island, which was untapped. But okay, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. In any case, this was Stasis for you. Not the best performance from me, and maybe not the best build, but at least you got to see how it works. It can be pretty annoying, as you can imagine. And as usual, I want to thank you for watching. There will, of course, be more pre-modern good stuff on this channel. Bye.